It has been a little while since we talked with Adam Fossett, the head football coach and athletic director at B.B. Calmer. Coach, good morning and happy summer, which is now over.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Yeah, summer's over. We're back in full swing. So our third day of school starts this morning, and when I leave here, I'll go clock in and go to my morning duty and get the day started.
So how was the first day of school this year?
Pretty good. You know, we've had some changes. We've had changes in administration, have some new teachers in the halls. So getting them acclimated to kind of the schedule and how it goes has been fairly easy. So got some new students rolling in and getting them where they need to go. But other than that, it's been a smooth start to school, and hopefully it'll be a smooth year for us.
Oh yeah, we're cooking chicken Saturday, aren't we?
We are. You know, it's fundraiser time, and we have to make money. So, you know, we're doing our chicken queue, and we usually do it twice a year. And our goal is to cook 450 halves Saturday. So,
I'm telling you, that's good chicken too now.
It is. You know, and it's something that I brought over here from my hometown in Georgia, and you know, they would do this once a month downtown. And they wouldn't even sell tickets. Like, they would just do like 500 halves, and they'd be sold out hours after they were done. So it's been a really good fundraiser for us, and the way I have it set up with the guy selling tickets and helping bring some of the product in, and Home Depot helps us out and donates the charcoal. So it goes well for us, and we're able to maximize our profits. So for $12, you get a smoked chicken half, chips, bread, and cookies. And you know, that's a meal. Like the chicken halves are right at 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. The halves are right at 2 pounds pre-cooked, and they don't. You know, you're not going to shrink up a lot on chicken. So you get a lot of meat and some sides for that for $12. You can't get that at a fast food drive-through. So it's a good meal. We cook it. Actually, we cook out by the baseball field now under a shade tree, and then pickup can be from 3 to 5 at the gym. So, and the way we have pickup set up is it's literally a drive-through. You don't even have to get out of your car. So you can drive up, and somebody will meet you out there and take your tickets and go get your plates. We will have extras, so you can either go on the athletics page and message the athletics page, and I'll get the message and tell me how many plates you want, and I'll have it written down. Or you can just comment on the picture there that I posted on the athletics page, how many halves you want, and we'll get it taken care of.
Now, the fundraiser itself, is that for the overall athletic department, or how does it work?
That's football.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a football fundraiser. So football generally does 3 fundraisers during the summer, first part of school. In spring and May, we do a Coke sale. Then we do watermelons, and we do chickens. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do watermelons this year because the crop was not a good crop. And the farmer has. I've done watermelons at all the schools I've been at. I've done it for, golly, 10 out of the past 12 years.
That guy's been good to you, hasn't he?
He has. He's been very good to me, and he's a straight shooter. He told me when I called him, and he said, "Look," he said, "this crop isn't worth a darn." He said, "I've had to plow under a couple fields, and you know, it wouldn't be worth your trip down here." So, and that's a fundraiser that we generally make $3,500 profit doing. So, it's important that this fundraiser goes over smooth. You know, we're in a situation where we from our success last year, going to the state championship game, we were able to collect playoff monies. But with success comes the cost of things, and we were in dire need of some new equipment, so I bought some new equipment. Well, now interest is up even more. We have a ton of 7th graders out right now. So helmets, buying new helmets and rotating some helmets in, and shoulder pads and things like that. So there's a constant need, but this year it kind of hit us that, you know, we've got to get some stuff, especially some equipment. We bought some new sleds and some new chutes and things like that, and that stuff's expensive. So I truly believe in fundraising. I think guys.
You kind of like that, don't you?
I do. I think it's just a responsibility thing, you know. And I'm not knocking the snap raises and stuff like that, but it's a lot easier. Like the kids don't have any responsibility necessarily. You know, hey, give us 20 emails and we're going to email these people 3 times a week and beg them for money. You know, I understand that, and I understand that's you know, an easier way to do it. I believe in giving them a good product for a good price and everybody making some money. Discount cards have helped in the past. The band does our discount cards, and I'm not going to step on Mr. Seaborn's toes. We have a good relationship,
right.
So I'm not going to do that. The chicken queue is a great moneymaker for us, and you're going to get your money's worth. Like
that's coming up Saturday.
Yeah, and that's this Saturday. So, and you're not going to get cheated. Like you get your money's worth.
So what time can they pick it up?
Pickup's 3 to 5.
Okay.
So we'll start. I've got a crew coming at 8 o'clock. We'll get started at 8 o'clock, getting everything ready and getting the chickens on the racks and all that other stuff. And it's very unique. Like how we do it is unique because when we flip them, we're not taking tongs and flipping one at a time. It'd take forever to flip 450 halves. We'll take a rack, put it on top of a empty rack, put it on top of a rack of chickens, and we flip 45 halves at a time. So it's pretty interesting. We got some people signed up to help. We got some parents signed up to help. So I think they're going to be shocked as far as the process and how it goes. And it's usually a good time.
Let's talk a little football now. Head football coach and athletic director at B.B. Comer coming off runner-up state championship last year. And everybody is expecting more of the same this year. What about you?
They are. You know, it's funny how the questions change over the years. So, you know, man, I think what everybody has to realize, and I think even coaches, we're realizing, you know, we've got to understand that this team is not last year's team. And we have a ton of talent on this year's team. A lot of seniors, a lot of guys that have been in the program since 8th grade, and that's what you want. That's part of building a program. But we also have some holes to fill. You know, we look at the seniors that left, and the biggest kind of question mark obviously is on that offensive line with Zach and Brandon leaving, and we've got to fill those spots. So those 2 guys were guys that were with us from 8th grade on, and came up through, and you know, finding somebody to fill those shoes is going to be tough because they were so solid. So we're working on finding the best mix for that and who fits in there, and you know, just trying to work the kinks out and be ready to go. So you know, 2A football, 1A, 2A, and some 3A, a lot of 3A football is a unique animal just in the simple fact that you have so many kids playing both ways. So, and then you start looking at depth and things like that. You know, we're supposed to go to Cordova next Thursday and play in a jamboree, and the discussion is how long do we let certain kids play? You know, you don't want to lose anybody in a jamboree. You know. But you have.
That's a worst nightmare.
Yeah, it is, and you have to get reps. You know, like we know what Kamor Harris can do. We know what Richard Weed can do. We know what Devin Harvey and Rayleon Sims can do, but they've got to get some game reps too. So you almost spend like, you know, the time that all those guys are in, you kind of hold your breath that whole time. But you also know that they've got to get reps against an opponent. You know, we can't necessarily give them a look, because when you have depth issues, it also makes it harder to practice because you either got to split up your ones and to scrimmage them, or you put all your ones on defense or offense, and they look really, really good against your guys that aren't quite ready. So it's kind of a danged if you do, danged if you don't. But and we're going to scrimmage Friday of this week each other just at practice, and in that sense, so I've got basically my coaches are kind of split up, and they're going to draft teams based on on need, and we'll try to do that. So just trying to get some looks.
Cordova, for those who may not know, that was a historical game back when Coach Bobby Overton was leading the way at B.B. Comer.
Yes, it was. You know, Cordova is who B.B. Comer played in the state championship in '95 at Cordova. Weather conditions were terrible. Fieldhouse conditions were terrible. So I've heard numerous stories about it. When I talked to Coach Smothers at Cordova, I said, you know, this is going to be unique. And he said, yeah, it is. He said, you know, I obviously wasn't around here then, and you weren't there either. And I said, no. I said, I was in high school then. He started laughing, but he said, well, I promise you our facilities are better than they were then. So hopefully the facilities will be better, but it is a unique game to play. And to be honest with you, we were having a hard time finding somebody. So, you know, it kind of came down to Cordova or possibly in Albertville, and I didn't want to go to Albertville, and two, Albertville's a 6A. So
you know that Cordova game brought forth a lot of changes too.
It did, yeah. You know, that's when Coach Overton went to the state and started talking about neutral sites for the state championship games, and you know, they went to Legion Field for a while, and now it's in the rotation of Auburn, Tuscaloosa, and Birmingham. So very unique situation. Man, I had the honor. You talking about Coach Overton? I ran into Coach Overton about 3 weeks ago, and hadn't seen him in a while, and you know, talking about a guy that's still sharp as a tack. Mm-hmm. We talked for a while, and it was really neat. It's always neat to talk to him, but he was really happy about the success that Comer has had, and man, he had a smile on his face, and told me all about the championship game, and told me all the things that I already knew.
Yep.
So. Very, very neat to see him and talk to him, and you know, for me coming back and to the school where he really paved the way, you know, it's I like knowing that he approves of what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, you runner-up last year in 2A football, and much is expected of this Tiger team this year. There's an old song that says that was yesterday and yesterday's gone. Mm-hmm. How do you formulate this Tiger team into somehow forgetting about yesterday and moving forward 2023?
You know, we've had some tough practices and some tough things throughout, and I think yesterday was really like the first day that we kind of turned the page on that. Mm-hmm. So. We talk about complacency, and we talk about, you know, that time is gone. All the kids, you know, when we went to Auburn, all the kids got a sweatshirt that had the Super 7 logo on it and stuff like that. And I told them, I was like, I really don't want to see it anymore. Like I'm not going to wear mine again. Mm-hmm. You know, so mine's in the closet, and I don't have it, or I don't wear it, and we got to move forward. You know. And this senior class of 12, they're very like adamant that they are going to stay the course and continue to get after mm-hmm. it. And they're teenagers, so you know sometimes you have to remind them of that. But I really, you know, I don't want to jinx our mojo. But if we come in today like we came in yesterday, and continue going in that direction, we're going to be okay. Because I'm not real sure where or how we turned the corner, but yesterday was one of the best days. Yesterday was probably one of the best practices I've had since I've been at Comer.
Wow.
So just an intense practice, getting after it, and learning and getting better.
Harris, saw him last year, continued to develop into one of the top running backs in all of high school football. Verbally committed to Maryland, to Memphis, I understand. But he's got a lot of upside, this Harris kid does.
He does. He's got, man, he's got strength, he's got speed, he's got knowledge. Kid can play numerous different positions. So he's truly a weapon for us offensively, and then defensively he's going to find the ball, and that's that's key for him. Just knowing, having the ball skills to get there and being on the tackle. So,
and he's not the only one either.
No, we've got defensively. I tell you, with Raylon Sims and Richard Weed back, and Alex Cunningham, Ian Denny on the defensive line. We've got some guys that are ready to go. We've got to fill some holes. Noah Wimmer and Daytron Wells have got to step up defensively and play for us. We've got a couple of young guys. Christian Jemison and De'Aaron Riley are freshmen, and man, we are throwing them in the fire. So they've got to be ready to go for us.
Well, SEC practices ongoing, and a lot of teams looking for quarterbacks. What about B.B. Comer?
Right now we got a little quarterback challenge going on with Devin Harvey and Raylon Sims, and both of them bring different things to the table.
And they're both veterans.
Yeah, both veterans. And the unique thing is we can whichever one we don't put in the backfield, we can flex them out at receiver or slot, and they can go. So, and then we've got a lot of weapons offensively, and that's why that offensive line play is so important, because if we can protect and we can block up front, the things that we can do behind those guys is pretty extraordinary. And I've got the luxury of having Coach Pike with me as our offensive coordinator, and he came to me 3 years ago from Hanley as an assistant coach, and he's been our coordinator for 3 years, and he's got more offensive stuff than you can imagine, and he understands the process. He's a very good young coach, but understands the process of building an offense and how to continue to evolve it and make it better. So
you got a couple of other new faces as well with your staff.
We do. We've got a couple new coaches. Coach Blackerby came over from Nichols Lawson to us. Coach Fuqua. I never say his name right.
Get that right.
Yeah, I never say his name right. He came from Alexandria, and ironically, he's from Georgia. And when my mother owned a daycare center, my mother kept him when he was a baby. so there's a little connection there. And then Coach Teague is coming to us from TC, and he's got a long list of coaching stops, and coached some college ball down in Florida. And, those guys are with us. Obviously, Coach Hale is with us, and Coach Gray, Coach Pike is with us. So we've got a good staff. We've got a staff that's we've got the staff that's got a good mixture. So
you remember last year, and it is again this year, you weren't treated too kindly in Dadeville last year, and they're coming here for the home opener this year.
Yeah, so Dadeville comes here, and looking forward to that, and looking forward to a home game. We get to kind of get to talking about games and things like that. And my dad's actually, he works at the school. He's a custodian, but he kind of keeps up with. He's also the manager of the ball boys, but he keeps up with the kind of the games and stuff like that. And over the summer we were talking. He said, "When was the last time B.B. Comer lost at home?" And I was like, I don't know. He said Clark County in the second round.
Wow.
So he said, I'm gonna mention that to those guys when the day we play Dadeville, because this, talking about home turf and protecting your home. So I didn't even think about that, but we ran the table at home last year. So we got a lot of home games this year, and hopefully that continues, because
schedule's the same this year as last year, and some, you got Vincent in there, and some of these other teams that from really, really close football games last year.
Yeah, we've got Vincent. Vincent comes to us on a Thursday night. The game that I know the other team has circled, because some of their players have told me, is Isabella.
Yeah.
So going to Isabella, we were at a track meet, and a couple of their guys were coming from one of the field events, and they're like, "Aren't you the coach at Comer?" I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "We're gonna be ready for y'all." And he was just kind of being jest. He wasn't being a smart aleck. I said, we got a lot of games before that, so, but they're gonna be ready, man. And they, I'm glad we have, we have to go on the road to them. We have to go to Ranburne.
Yeah.
So we got 2 long trips. We go to Coosa and go to Chillsburg. So we've got 6 home games, and I do like that. 4 on the road, but the schedule is going to be interesting because we're going to get everybody's best game. Everybody knows, what we did obviously what we did last year goes back to that, but we're going to get everybody's best game.
How good can this Tiger team be this year?
Sky's the limit for us. I mean, it all depends. The controllables are our attitude and our effort, and we don't get complacent. We continue to come to work every day and prepare to get better week in and week out. The uncontrollables are health. Got to stay healthy. We've got to be able to take care of them and still be able to practice and things like that. So that part is up to us as far as coaches and creating a practice schedule and being smart. And then just hope we stay away from injuries and
got to keep these coaches healthy too, don't we?
That's right, no doubt.
Are you well?
I'm better. So right the week after the state championship, I had surgery on my foot, and that was they reconstructed all the tendons and all that, and I actually got cleared 2 weeks ago, and I told the doctor, I was like, it still swells, and she said, I reconstructed your whole foot. It's going to take at least a year. You need to be patient. I was like, that is not my strong point. So being patient is not something I'm good at.
Finally, how good can Harris be?
He's one of the most talented kids I've ever coached. He's an anomaly. He extremely strong, extremely fast, extremely knowledgeable. I think that. If he continues to improve, I wouldn't be surprised to see even though he's committed, I wouldn't be surprised to see other schools.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see other schools offer. I wouldn't be surprised for some of these bigger schools, some of these Power Fives, to reach out and show some interest. So, and it's unique for him because his recruiting process has been so unique in the fact that some schools have plain out said, I'm recruiting you as a running back. Some schools have said, I strictly want you as a linebacker. So that's kind of, in his mind, what do I want to be? And
who would be another player that is being looked at that can make some noise at the next level?
Chris Wilson and Devin Harvey both are guys that, somebody's going to get a steal on them. Chris had some opportunities over the summer to go to some camps. Yeah, he is. Had an opportunity to go to some camps over summer and do some things, and he's on their radar. And Devin's on a couple of people's radar. So, you hope that they get an offer within the first couple of weeks of the season, and then they can play ball. I do like. I like the aspect of they still have something to prove.
Yeah.
And that's important from the high school end of the factor because their mentality is they're going to have to go out every day and bust their tail and have good games because they never know who's watching.
Chicken fry coming up Saturday. Yeah, and so over to school. And how can they go ahead and buy their tickets now?
The best way is just to contact me through the athletics page, and I can get you on the list. You wouldn't have a ticket necessarily, but you just pull up and tell them your name, and I'll be over there. So I'll know who's who and based on the list and things like that. So
you get chicken bread,
chips, and cookies. $12.
$12. Can't beat that.
That's right.
We'll see you over there. It's going to be a lot of chicken on Saturday. Coach, good luck, and our Coach's Corner will begin in another week or so. So we look forward to having you back again.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
All right, more Daybreak coming up right after you watch this.